Hi everybody. Today we are going to learn US ANDA filing procedure as per CTD eCTD format. As you know, eCTD format has become mandatory to US FDA and European countries. So mainly eCTD has structure shown as below. It comprises of 5 modules, mainly Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Module 4, Module 5. There is always a util folder which contains DTD and style sheet. And one more folder, that is index.xml, which is the XML backbone of whole eCTD structure. One important file is also there, which is called index.md5 text file. So this is a US Module 1 structure which comprises of all administrative information including Form 356H, cover letter and all other items as described in ICS CTD specification. So Module 1 folder is the regional folder. It contains information of regional files. Module 1 folder of US submission contains the regional file along with US regional XML, which is the XML backbone of US Module 1. Module 1 folder of European submission contains the regional file along with EU regional.xml, which is the XML backbone of European Module 1. Module 2, Module 3, Module 4 and 5 contains technical data as per defined by ICH. Index.xml is the backbone for entire eCTD submission, and this serves as the table of content for navigation. Whereas index.md5.txt is the text folder which contains the checksum value of the index.xml. Util folder contains the 2 folders, mainly DTD and style sheet. XML files placed in eCTD are based on this DTD and style sheet, and hence whenever XML open, it utilizes the DTD and style sheet. So now we'll learn creating the folder structure utilizing ICH executable empty folder creator. You can create these folders by creating executable program as per ICH. So preparation of CTD module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in eCTD always comprises of Tetra 0, which is the original application, under which we have different modules, that is module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and util folder. So let us learn about folder and file naming convention. XML backbone as a single file named index.xml, which should be placed in the submission sequence number folder, that is Tetra 0 folder, or there should be an index.xml file in folder related to that specific submission. The MD5 checksum file, that is index.md5.txt, should be in each folder with the corresponding index.xml file. The DTD for index.xml should be in the util folder for each submission. So while naming, suppose provide a name that is indicative of the content, example stability protocol, BMR of 25 mg, etc. You should use only letters of lowercase, numbers or hyphens in the name. You should not use blank spaces or any special characters as shown in this slide. Security settings such as password should be avoided. A single file size should not exceed 50 to 100 MB. Better to go up to 50 to 80 MB. If it is greater than 100 MB, then you can split into 2 files. So this is an example of file and folder naming structure. Always use lowercase letters, avoid special characters. File and folder path should be up to 230 character for full folder file path, whereas 64 character for folder name. So this is an example of module 3, how the file and folder naming convention being used. This is a good example of file naming convention. This is a bad example of file naming convention. So there are some general consideration about ANDA submission while preparation eCTD files and data attachment. First, you prepare and verify all sections of Module 1 to Module 5 in Word files. Scan all data attachment in PDF files. Segregate respective data attachment in relevant folders. Example, API data of drug substance goes under S part, while drug product data goes under P part under CMC section. Accordingly, print the Word files into PDF and include bookmarks, internal links, hyperlink or intralinks. Create submission plan in software and proceed for the attachment. Then there is a study tagging file which is a mandatory requirement as per US FDA for NDA, NDA. Then after that you have to consider hyperlinking, bookmarking, then you have to preview of submission, and then you can submit the whole eCTD. Let us talk about format and general consideration. If an NDA or ANDA has multiple strengths or contains two formulations such as powder and diluent, then it is better to create a common product code for entire product composition and separate codes for each strength or formulation. Documents pertaining to a strength or composition should be attached to those codes, and documents common for all strength or composition should be attached to common product code. This gives clarity and saves rework. In case there are two different ANDAs for same strength of a product, then the product code to include a reference of RLD product, example generic of ABC. This will avoid confusion of the reviewer. Let us talk about hyperlink and bookmarking. Bookmarks improve navigation within a document. Bookmark hierarchy should be identical to the table of contents. Not more than 4 levels in a hierarchy. Hyperlinks improve navigation within a document, that is internal link, and through various files in a submission, that is hyperlinks. Denoted usually in blue font with a thin rectangle. Avoid rectangle in TOC as it may overlap text matters. Use relative path while setting hyperlinks, else it will result in loss of hyperlinks. When creating bookmarks and hyperlinks, you should choose the magnification setting. Inherit zoom so that the destination page displays at the same magnification level that the reviewer is using for the rest of the document. For bookmarks, set file open dialog box, open with bookmark. If there are no bookmarks, then set the option as page only. We need to set the resolution and page layout. This is an example of bookmarks. Suppose if you want to attach protocol, summary of protocol changes, list of investigator, demographic analysis, never use bookmark as appendix 1, appendix 2, appendix 3 or 4. Either you can use one main folder as appendices, under which you can bookmark it as a protocol, summary of protocol, list of investigators and demographic analysis. So this is a good way of bookmarking your documents, which makes reviewer job easier. Now when your eCTD Tetra 0 version is ready with you, you can upload a dummy submission. You can submit a dummy eCTD backbone with attachment containing no specific data at FDA esub@fda.hss.gov.com. So submit it either as CD via email, or you can upload through ESG. ESG is an electronic secure gateway. So FDA test dummy submission. If it is acceptable, you get an acknowledgement. Proceed for final eCTD submission of the product. If any technical issues resolved and resubmit dummy submission, need to have a secure email ID, which is a now final submission. Before uploading your final submission, always request pre-assigned eCTD number from US FDA. This number is a 6-digit number and valid up to 60 days. If you are unable to file the submission within 60 days, then please contact FDA and confirm validity of that number, or request a new number to them. eCTD compilation and submission should be completed after all the steps described above. This is a reference eCTD website. You can note it down. Now let us talk about need of operational attributes. There are always 4 attributes: new, append, replace and delete. New, append, replace and delete. So how does it work? Append means any application information to original application, or missing some information in document or association with previous document. For example, additional study asked by the authority, one of the CO is missing in 3.2P7, that is container closure system. New means submitting the new information or missing information, any sequence that is tetra 0, 0001, 0002 not submitted to authority for that particular drug product. No association with previous documents, start of new life cycle. For example, forms, cover letters, missing sections. Delete file attribute is to be used to remove or unwanted file provided. No new file submitted in this case. Generally try to avoid delete button to use. Then there is a sequence life cycle. Always tetra 0 will be your original application. 0001 could be your CMC amendment. One more 0002 could be your CMC amendment, and 0003 could be your annual reports. So how you correlate this sequence with each other, which is called concept of related sequence number. So as the number of sequences increases, difficult to track the files. So this is a concept of related sequence number. Tetra 0 is your original application. 0001 could be amendment of tetra 0. 0002 could be amendment of again tetra 0. 0003 could be your labeling supplement. 0004 could be amendment of 0003. 0005 could be amendment of original application. So how do you correlate? This is the sequence and this is the RSN factor, related sequence number. So for original application there is no RSN, means it is not applicable, whereas when we send the amendment 0001, which is the amendment of tetra 0, in that case RSN could be tetra 0. Likewise, we have mentioned 0002 is the amendment of tetra 0, so RSN would be tetra 0. In case of labeling supplement, it is purely new supplement, which is 0003. In that case, your RSN could be not applicable. 0004 could be amendment of 0003. So in this case, RSN would be original application plus 0003. So likewise, see, when the sequence increases, your RSN factor increases. Same thing is mentioned in this slide. For annual reports, Module 1 section representative of annual report paper format sections are to be included. Module 3, 5 attachment follows eCTD structure same as that of original ANDA. A new or amended version of a document can be either added as a new file or appending file to the old version, or by replacement or deletion of an old version. Consider example 1. Suppose if you receive a deficiency from US FDA saying that a bioequivalence deficiency is received for an ANDA and a revised dissolution specification is required along with updated plasma stability data. So how do you respond? By using the operational attributes. In response to above deficiency, a Form 356H cover letter, response to deficiency, and revised finished product specifications and updated plasma stability data are to be required submitted. In eCTD of this amendment, following attributes will be set as Form 356H. Since it is new, it will be included under Module 1 by using new attributes. Cover letter, again it is new, use new attribute. Response to deficiency, that is included in Module 1 under Module 1.11, that is multiple module information amendment, use new attribute. Finished product specification, since it is a revised specification, you have to use append button. Plasma stability data is to be included under Module 5 with the additional append STF file and include a tag for stability data. So this is again updated plasma stability data, so use append button. I will give one more example where we receive the CMC supplement. So CMC supplement wherein a change in manufacturing process and a change in API vendor is proposed. In supplemental filing, cover letter should provide a summary of proposed changes and hyperlink. Referencing body of data should be included. If reference is included of a document submitted in paper format, then that document can be included in eCTD format with new attribute. So in the above supplemental application, following attributes will be set. Now API section to be included in module 3 with replace attribute if you intend to replace previous vendor, or if you want to add, then you can use new attribute if you intend to submit an additional vendor. Revised manufacturing process to be included in module 3 P3.3 with the append attribute. I hope with these two examples how to use operational attributes, append, replace and new buttons is cleared. So there are two levels of submission, first level submission types and the second level submission type. In first level, you can use original application, annual report, efficacy supplement, labeling supplement, CMC supplement and few others. Whereas in second level submission types generally use a single related sequence, that is amendment and resubmission. So these are few submission type attributes and the definition, the meaning of amendment, resubmission, pre-submission and all other is given in this slide. Now let us talk about what is eCTD validation, which is an important factor when you are submitting in eCTD. eCTD validation is the process which confirms that the prepared eCTD document is in accordance with ICH and regional specification. So US validation criteria for eCTD, you can refer to this slide. There are many revisions, revision history you will find in this slide. So you have to use the latest version for using the eCTD validation specification. So the current specification for validation is 2.2, finalized in 30th April. But you have to refer to if there is any other current version available from the website. Then there are three levels of errors found in validation. One is high level error, second is medium level error and low level error. High means it's red color. The error is serious technical error which prevents the processing of the submission and will require resubmission. The submission is considered not received by the FDA. If it is a medium level error, then error may impact the reviewability of the submission but cannot be determined without further inspection by the review staff. The submission might be considered received by FDA. Low level error means the error is a technical error which may or may not impact the reviewability or the integrity of the submission. The submission will likely to be considered received by FDA. So eCTD validation, when large volume of submission data and analysis is collected, assembled and published, often from a wide variety of reliable sources. After the initial submission is complete, its full life cycle must be managed. This includes all incremental sequences and amendments produced as a result of agency request for clarification, changes in indication, etc. It's necessary to validate your dossier not only at different stages of the life cycle, but most importantly before submission to verify compliance with current regulatory guidance. So these are few snapshots which is brought to you for the eCTD validation. So these are the windows wherein you can see high severity, low severity errors. So you will see different navigation slides if you are using different vendors software, wherein you will get action validation results. So mainly validation results window shows like this, the number which is indicates the validation test step as defined in the validation criteria. Then the test name indicates the name of the validation test step. Then severity indicates the structural element that was checked. indicates an error level, see chapter 4. Then test level indicates the structural element that was checked. Description provides further details to the test step performed. If you click a heading, the selected column is sorted. An invalid submission, if it is showing, then you have to resubmit, redo the work and organize sequence once again. What is the best practice in eCTD validation? Understand the validation criteria of health authority first. Health authorities in Canada, Europe and US each have their own set of eCTD validation criteria published on their website. So understanding validation criteria for your market makes it easier to detect errors considered critical by the health authority to which you shall submit. Understand the capabilities of your tools. Write your publishing tool may detect some errors. Chances it will not detect all errors considered important by every health authority. So if you don't have 100% critical error coverage in your tool suite, you shall need to perform manual checks, which are time consuming and labor intensive. Be that as it may, you must conduct thorough manual checks if your electronic validation tool doesn't provide the error checking and solution criteria you need. Do not manually edit your XML, never ever. It's easy to get your publishing tool out of sync with your submission when you edit eCTD XML code manually. So there are many tools on the market designed to check the structural integrity of your XML. Be sure to use an optimized tool to avoid unnecessary technical errors. Fourth point is correct all errors before delivering your submission, which is most important point. By correcting all errors prior to submission, you certify that you have not missed a single critical error. A good way to summarize and categorize your errors is to run a validation tool prior to your submission. Once everything is done, you can use the ESG, that is Electronic Submission Gateway, for which you have to apply for an account and complete all the formalities by applying test account, letter of non-repetition, send test submission, FDA ESG validates, then create production account and submit eCTD. So